What's up, witches? I'm Luna, and I'm here, and you're there, presumably, for an unboxing video. I have a backlog of 15 decks waiting to be unboxed, and I will not allow myself to use them until I've shot the video, so I need to get busy. This is the This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. This, I am pretty sure, was released as an indie deck. It is now Liminal 11 published deck, and I was surprised by that because I've seen it used and kind of wanted it, and there was a big reason why I couldn't have it, and I think that's because it was indie. So I ran across it the other day as a mass release and went, hell yes. The This Might Hurt Tarot is a modern deck in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, keeping time-honored symbolism and imagery but losing the medieval context. I like the way that's stated. This deck is designed to be easy to read and highly relatable. Images are modernized, diversity is embraced, and queerness is lovingly acknowledged. So this is why I really wanted this deck. And the typical Liminal 11 box, which I really love. It's just neat. It's fun. It's nice to handle. I like the little snappy thing on the bottom. Here we have an image of the 4 elemental symbols, and is it an Ouroboros? Yes, it is, because it's only one snake, but he's also tied himself in a knot in the middle. I've never quite seen that. All right, clicky, snappy, clicky. Then we have the inner box, and we've got more stuff in there. Here's the thing that I don't like. I appreciate, and I think I know why they did it. First of all, let's look at the images. The death card, we have kind of a cartoony. Oh, look at her. Isn't she wonderful? Okay, so I understand why this cardboard insert is in here. So it's to keep the cards from rattling around inside. But, part of me then wonders, why don't you just make the book or the cards as big as the box, or the box the same size as the cards? Because, I don't like having to get rid of things. Okay. So we have the deck. We have the book. We have more designs inside. They're just wonderful boxes. If something happened and I decided that I was never ever going to read tarot again, I would probably just keep these boxes because I like the boxes. And, besides that, the previous scenario is not a thing. Okay. Let's look at the book. It's going to be one of those days of interrupting and short-circuiting my thought trains. Okay, so this edition by Liminal 11 2023, first edition by Isabella Rotman 2019. That's it. Okay, so congratulations on getting picked up by a publisher. First of all, we have a foreword, an introduction, card descriptions, how to read tarot, tarot spreads, and special thanks. And we have a little section here on gender and tarot. I want to read that. Okay, the foreword is by Melissa Sinova, who is the creator of Kitchen Table Tarot and Tarot Elements. I wonder if those are books or decks. I assume they're books. There's the introduction. Let's read a little bit. When I first started drawing This Might Hurt Tarot in 2015, I was creating a deck that accurately and adoringly reflects my world. My world is complicated and rich. It is queer and diverse. There are disabled people, fat people, brown people, black people, gay people, trans people, people who dye their hair and ride scooters and have big thighs and are covered in tattoos. Many of these cards are portraits of my friends, my family. This deck is more to me than a modern reimagining of Arthur Waite and Pamela Smith's historic deck. It is a loving portrait of the rich tapestry of my life. The phrase "this might hurt" is something that I've been using for my work for a while, long before I started drawing the tarot deck. I draw comics that are surreal, dreamlike exercises in trying to understand and heal from issues in my personal life. The comics are generally a bit sad, but also relatable and overall hopeful. This might hurt felt like an apt descriptor of this work. When I started reading, studying, and drawing tarot, I was struck with its similarities to my own work. The cards are going to tell you what you need to hear. The future might not be bright. It might be hard. But that's okay. Most things worth doing might be hard. Most things worth doing might hurt. I self-published This Might Hurt Tarot in 2019 with the help of Kickstarter backers, the United States Postal Service, and some very generous and helpful friends. Ever since, folks have been writing to me saying that they see themselves in this deck. Turns out worlds are shared. I had drawn my own little complicated, beautiful universe, and behold, people were finding themselves in it. Their own friends, their own family, their own tattoos, genders, and big thighs. What could be better than that? And she goes on, I hope you see yourself in this deck. That's wonderful. All right, on gender and tarot. We'll read a little again. Tarot tradition is saturated in gender. It's inescapable. As someone who strives to create art that people of all genders can connect with, I find the prominence of binary gender within tarot difficult to reckon with. Traditional tarot decks have a definitive idea of which traits are feminine and which traits are masculine. For example, the Empress represents the softer side of the feminine archetype. She is gentle, motherly, and tied to nature. She has a sensual sexuality. She is pure emotion. The High Priestess represents the darker aspects of the divine feminine archetype. She is hidden and patient. She is intuitive and otherworldly. She is a mystery. Together, the traits of the Empress and the High Priestess represent Tarot's idea of the feminine, a collection of women's qualities as assigned by men. This is very refreshing. Meanwhile, the Emperor, the father archetype, is ruled by logic. He is not afraid of conflict or taking a leadership role. He is hard, unemotional, and rational. He represents society in contrast to nature. The Magician, also a male archetype, channels what is abstract into the material world. He is a card of action, cultivating magic in a direct path, in contrast to the High Priestess's quiet magic of wisdom. Over and over in Tarot, this laundry list of feminine and masculine traits can be found in many different cards. Queens are feminine and therefore represent the internal aspect of the suit. Kings are masculine and therefore external, pushing the ideas of the suit outward onto others. The feminine ideal is patient wisdom. The masculine ideal is implementation and action. What do we, especially those of us who are queer, do with this? Well, it turns out the answer has been in the tarot the whole damn time. I was just interpreting things too literally to see it. I'm so glad she says it because I was about to launch. The goal of most tarot practitioners and designers is balance. The balance of work, of spirituality, of emotions, of material things. Tarot wants us all to be in balance, and gender is one of the symbolic elements it uses to talk about that. So when reading this book and using this deck, please keep the following in mind. When I say masculine or feminine, I mean a set of traits that have been assigned as masculine or feminine in the tradition of tarot. When I say man or woman, I am referring to the gender of the character in the card. I am not referring to their biological sex as determined by genitalia. Do not assume, because a character has a clearly defined gender, that they are cis. In this deck, gender is fluid. If gender matters symbolically to the meaning of the card, I've retained the gender expressed in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. If gender doesn't matter to the symbolic meaning of the card, I may have changed it or removed any gender cues. Your tarot readings want you to find balance. You are right to identify with gendered traits in tarot that are not in alignment with your personal gender identity. You are right to seek harmony in these traits and or in gender itself if that feels right to you. Tarot is gender fluid, so let's read it that way. Again, I applaud. Wow, well done. I am so glad I finally got my hands on this deck. Thank you, Liminal 11. So we have that, and then we go to the major arcana and right into the descriptions. And we see a full page color image of the card, and then another mostly full page of description. And then we've got, oh, in between, here's the minors. Oh, okay, I'm not going to go there yet. Here are the minors, and it talks about each of the suits: Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles, traditional suits, Then the numerology of the numbers of ace through 10, courts, the overall meanings of each of the courts, and then we go into the wands. And so each card gets a full page. We see a little like half shaded image that I assume is going to be on each card. And then at the end we have how to read the tarot, performing a reading, make space, shuffle and ask your question. But what question do I ask? Select your cards, pull your cards, lay out a spread, interpret the cards, closing, reversed card meanings, tarot spreads, past, present, future. So we have 3 cards, intuitive 3 cards, cycle of healing spread, which looks like the beginning of a Celtic cross. And then we have path to the world spread. That's interesting. How interesting that we do 6 cards, but we don't do the other line of the Celtic cross. Okay, anyway, let's get to the cards. That zoom in took me a long time, and I found myself at the end asking the question, are we thinking or are we being a bit of a numbnuts? So, anyway, here's the deck. Let's get the plastic thing off. There we go. There is the back. And again, it's got that lovely soft gradient from blue into green. They are not directional, but a lovely, lovely back. So her art style is very cartoony. You can tell, she said she writes a comic. They said they write a comic. Do we get their pronouns? We have a forward. The forward, they put their pronouns, but I don't think Isabella did. So we will go with neutral. Oh, how interesting. I just went to the last pages. We have special thanks and a bibliography, which is awesome, recommended resources, and then decks I was looking at while I drew this right. Oh my God. Decks I was looking at while I drew this might hurt. Rider-Waite-Smith, Marigold Tarot, Sasuraibito Tarot. Ooh, a lot to look up here. Enchanted Tarot, which is sitting in my pile waiting to be unboxed. The Golden Thread Tarot, Ostara Tarot, I have that one. Fyodor Pavlov, hell yes! So Pavlov came first. The After Tarot, Tarot of the Divine, Light Gray Art Lab Tarot. How interesting. All right, resources. I love resources. Okay, here's the Fool. So we have this young person stepping off the edge of the cliff. What's new here is the Golden Gate Bridge in the background and cities and mountains and things. And there's the little satchel that the Fool carries. And here's the Magician. Very recognizable, even down to the color. The red and white that the Magician is wearing and the emblems of the elements. And then we have the High Priestess. Isn't she beautiful? And we have the columns represented as trees, the veil behind her. Yes, yes, lovely. And here's the Empress. So even though we have this comic book style, there's like a seriousness too. Look at the, at her eyes and her position, so you can kind of, it's one very short step away from the comic style to see the very serious images that are being portrayed. And there's the Empress. Interesting how she's sitting on the stump of a cut down tree. There's the Emperor. Old Greybeard, the Hierophant. I really like the style. It's very calm, certainly well drawn and beautifully imagined. Here are the lovers. So they're adding so much to it. Lovers card, we have 2 people sort of standing. I think they're usually holding hands, but they seem a little bit apart. I love that they're naked. I love that they're in an embrace. It's like I can feel the warmth of their bodies when I look at that. Here's the Chariot. Look at this person astride these two motorcycles with brandishing a wand. That's amazing. Strength, as we see on the front of the box. That's beautiful too. So we certainly, I mean, there's no hesitation in recognizing what card we're looking at. There's the Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. Look how wonderful that is. This is a half woman, half lion. I have not seen anything like that before. I'm going to look that one up. I love it when somebody brings something new to the very familiar. There's a lot of symbolism in this card. On the wheel, we see Tarot spelled out in Roman letters, creating the word tarot, read in an endless circle. Counterclockwise, it reads Torah, referring to the Torah of Judaism and thus to higher knowledge. The Hebrew letters on the wheel's rim are Yod, He, Vav, He. They represent the name of God. At the corners, we see the alchemical symbols of the four elements. Yeah. The Sphinx. So she is a Sphinx. Well, duh. I mean, I'm like, oh, I've never seen a... Yeah, that's a Sphinx. I've just never seen her unfolded before. Stretched out. Okay. Should I really be shooting unboxings when I can't think? Ah, well. Here is Justice. The Hanged Man. And I love the way it is definitely, you know, this is the one card that says man or woman. There's, you know, not mentioned. The roles are mentioned, not the genders, and we have Hanged Man. And he's a frickin' lumberjack, as manly man as we can get. That's fun. I like the sense of humor here. Here's the Death card, grinning at everyone. He's got, must be his handful of money there. Yeah, I mean, all the symbolism that you're looking for from the Waite-Smith is definitely here. Look at how we have water and fire. That's something new. This cup that's literally got fire in it. And the symbols of water and fire. So it's very clear to us what's being combined there. And those are the elements of creation, right? Here's the Devil. With the crisscrosses on the nipples. That was, yeah, I wore Band-Aids in high school. Smoking a cigarette. And the people partying down below. And here's the lightning struck tower. The Star. I love the portrayal of the nude figure. They're all unique. And here's the Moon. I mean, I'm just getting kind of drawn into each image just to see what I'm going to find, and it's a lot of fun. Here's the Sun. Riding a pupper. Riding a doggo with a pupper down here. Very cute. I love the face in the sun. Here's Judgment. Oh, Mott. So this is a bit different. This is very different. So instead, this is like the first one that is a huge departure. I mean, looking at the other ones, and none of them have been, everything else is very recognizable. And then suddenly, ba-boom, the Judgment card is not at all like Waite-Smith. We usually see, the angel with the trumpet and people rising up out of the grave. But here we see Anubis, I'm assuming that's Anubis, holding this scale, weighing the heart against a feather, which is what Mott does. Interesting. Then we have the World. Okay, I want to find out why that one is so different. All right. This is the card for which I deviated the most from Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, which depicts the rapture, complete with an angel blowing a trumpet to beckon all good Christians out of their graves and into heaven. Instead, I chose to draw Anubis, the jackal-headed Egyptian god of the dead. The ancient Egyptian understanding of divine judgment involved reciting the negative confessions, a list of 42 sins that the soul had not committed. After this, Anubis would weigh the heart of the recently deceased against the feather of truth. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul would ascend to the afterlife. If the heart was heavier, the heart and soul would be devoured and destroyed. Yikes. Then she goes into the meaning of the card. But I love that we get the satisfaction of an explanation when something is such a radical departure. And here's the world, and I adore this drawing. Look at this beautiful, bountiful woman with her softness and the warmth of her skin. It's just gorgeous. We have symbols of the suits, and we have a double snake. All right, Ace of Wands. Definitely get the idea of a suit of fire. Here's the two sitting on a car. So we're departing a bit and bringing it again into the modern context. I like that she's holding a map. That's a really important addition. Then we have Three of Wands. So we see a desk here, and you can see where the planning has happened. Or maybe the plan is written out and then we're looking to see it launch. Here's the Four of Wands. Look at the rabbits. And again, a really interesting addition that brings in a whole new layer of fertility, collaborative fertility. Five of Wands. I love that it's dogs going after each other's sticks. That's pretty funny. Here's the Six of Wands on a bicycle. The Seven. The Eight. Oh, look at the animals running. That's really cool. That's very cool. Here's the Nine. Look at the pens and pencils. So the suits seem to be deviating a little bit more to bring in, to place them in the modern context and bring in sort of modern time problems. This guy is like, he's got so much work to do that he's sort of hemmed in by all that work. And then, oof, look at this 10. Backbreaking. You can feel the weight. Here's the Page playing their ukulele. The Knight on a motorcycle. That's very cool. The Queen. I'm so glad we have the sunflower and the cat. And the Artist. I wonder if this is a self-portrait. Let's just see. The fire burning inside the Queen of Wands is something she has learned to tame, nurture. Okay. I chose to draw the Queen of Wands as a friend of mine who never ceases to amaze me. So we get what their inspiration was. I really appreciate that, Isabella. It was Isabella, yes, King. Here's the King of Wands. Sitting by the fire. Then and look at the shift to the 2 cups. You feel this like hot dry through the suit of Wands, and then water. There's the 2 of Cups. Oh, look at them. That's wonderful. The 3. The 4. I like the fact that the back is turned. And the card of loss. 6. Sharing memories. The 7. Look at the plants. The 8. I like the broken glasses there. The 9. A potter sitting at a wheel. That really shifts the wish card meaning from just, self-satisfaction, I have it all, to I am creating. I can create what I want. And this face looks like a dude I can't remember his name. He certainly looks Japanese. And I've watched videos of Japanese potters and doing amazing things. Here's the 10 with birds in a nest, and look at them touching bills and this little tiny heart. Oh, so sweet. Here's the page with a fish in a bag. Okay, how many of you just went back to the county fair or, your school carnivals with goldfish in bags? There's the Knight of Cups. I like that the knights are on motorcycles. The Queen and the King. I love that the King is in a boat in the water. He is in his element. Then we have swords. There's the 2. I'm glad the blindfold's there. Those blindfolds are significant to me when they come up. There's the 3. Oh, look at the swan. That's just plain old beautiful card. Absolutely it is. The 4. Wow. The fact that she's sleeping with a knife. Wow. Wow. There's the 5. Yep, he certainly looks like he's done some damage. Here's the 7, getting away with it all. And the 8. A little bit of shibori there. But, wow. The 9 brings us just immediate and up close. The way we're looking, we're standing up and looking down. Little things like this, little choices in how figures are drawn, really change the impact of the image. And look at this. Oh my. To see, naked flesh with the swords actually going into the flesh rather than into the fabric is visceral. There's the page, the knight, the queen. I love her. And the king. Ugh. Man who's been through it, right? And here are the pentacles. I love the waves and the boats. That is an important image to me when I'm reading. The 3. Look at everybody in their hard hats and their plan and executing together. And here's the 4. I like that one of them is at the crotch level. 5, very familiar. The 6. Ooh, she's like literally looking down her nose. There's the 7. The 8, look at the cranes. Oh, sorry. The 9 of Pentacles, the card that comes up over and over and over and over and over again, not just in my readings, my sister's readings, but I watched Marianne Revealing Light Tarot the other day, and they kept coming up over and over again, and hers too. What the hell? 10 of Pentacles. You know what the hell it is? It's take care of your territory. Be in your territory, revel in it, enjoy the things, the fruits that it has to give you, but take care of it. There's the 10, the happy family, or the stable family card. And wait a minute, I'm going to look at something here. Oh yes, the 10 of Cups had the birds. So we see the human family. And we have the page and the knight and the queen. Isn't she sweet? And the king. And we have an extra. We have the infinity symbol. This is where I decided not to look too closely. This is the This Might Hurt, This Might Heal card. A girl and a wolf cycle between tender affection and a difficult struggle. So you see the tender affection there. Do the thing, camera. There we go. Close enough. And then we have The struggle. Wow. In the downward position, the girl and the wolf are locked in a desperate battle. The figures are cyclical, with the four symbols of the minor arcana in the corners, suggesting that struggle and peace are temporary positions in a never-ending cycle. Absolutely. The wolf represents the external world. Risk is inherent in a well-lived life. There will be vibrant joy, crushing pain, and multitudes in between. All experiences that are meaningful, that are truly joyful, can also bring you the most pain. In the downward position, with the girl and wolf fighting at the top, it suggests a time of great difficulty. That the external world has bitten you. Times are hard, and you are reacting to that hardship. In order to return to equilibrium, acceptance is key. If you fight what has happened to you, blame yourself, or refuse to recognize what is going on, you will add to your own suffering. Accept what has happened, and you can become a stronger person on the other side, able to form meaningful bonds with those who have had similar experiences. In the upright position, with the girl and the wolf at peace on the top, it suggests a time of healing. Humans are social animals that evolve to thrive in community. Connection is the key to our survival and our highest goal, and it is connection with others and the world around you that will facilitate growth. Take care of your people, love your world, and you will also be taken care of and loving yourself. Cool. Now, the problem that that card presents is that I'm looking really quickly to see if they don't really, separate upright and reversed meanings. I want to see real quick here. Whenever a card indicates the quality of the card. Okay, so they talk about the options with reading reversals. But we want this card to be turned one way or another when we're shuffling. So that might be a reason to actually turn these cards, whether or not we're going to read the reversals. I realized that I have knocked my camera completely askew somehow, some way. Lots of little glitches today. So anyhow, let's get this blessed up and see how she shuffles. It is a bit of a chunky deck, and the cards are kind of stiff. I think it's going to, well, they seem bendy. We shall see. Let me put the box away. ASMR of clicky boxes. All right, let's start with some sage. By fire and air, may you be purified and charged. And by water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. Let's do the book too. And I would like to send blessings to the author of this deck for helping to move our discipline into the new age, into the Aquarian age. And I say thank you to my guides, guardians, allies, and ancestors for being here every moment of every day. Thank you so much, my gang. You are the best. And I appreciate your help with this deck, and I offer you fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael. Here we go. Wait. Are we? There we. All right. And my sage has decided to just take off. So right, how does she shuffle? Ooh, that's rough. They're glossy cards. One shuffle put a bend in some. And I know that I've had issues before with Liminal 11 decks being just this way. It's one thing if you've got stock that kind of stays bent to, if you're going to bridge afterwards, you sort of bend them back the other way, but we can't rely on people that purchase our decks doing that. So please use cardstock that makes sense for a deck of cards. I really do want to do a review of publishers. You know, do a video where it's like, rate the publishers. Okay. Okay. See? They slide against each other quite nicely, as you can see. Wasn't that a nice demonstration? I meant to do that. But we have... Oh... Sorry, I gotta get my shit together again and get my energies together. That pissed me off. Could you tell? That pissed me off. So hard to shuffle. So hard to shuffle. You guys, why? Why do we have to do it this way? We're having a good time now. I think I may split the deck and pick cards because they are not shuffleable. All right. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, deck. I am not mad at the artist. I'm mad at the publishers that make these choices that don't make any sense for what your product is used for. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Now, I'm going to split. Let's look at the one spread that they had. Okay, wait a minute. The pull Path to the World spread. Pull the world card from the deck, place it at the top center. It represents self-actualization. Shuffle and think about what a self-actualized version of you would look like. What are your values? And then the number one card is next step. Where do you need to go on the next step towards the world? Obstacle. What is blocking your path right now? Obstacle clarifier. You know what? We're going to do this. But we are asking this question for all of humanity. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to give the deck a sound bath, so I apologize, dear. By the sound of the bell, may any of my negative vibrations be cleared from you, and may the spirit within you awaken. All right. All kindness to this deck and to its author for a wonderful, wonderful tool. All right. So we need to pick. Oh, we need to take the world card out. It's even hard to, you know, when I can't hold a deck like this and thumb through it, it's too big. It's too thick. You guys, the maker of the decks, I see a couple cards have flipped themselves over. But look at the, you know, here's all the wands. They are not mixed. That was a huge clump of wands together. I don't even need to look at the name. The world card stands out so clearly. And of course she's going to be at the very frickin' end. There she is. Thank you for working your way out, because obviously I've gone blind. Okay, here's the world. Then, I use that. We have the number one card, which is going to be the next step. Okay, show us the next step. This is our collective journey to, you know, the world, to success. What is success? It's, you know, our evolution and being decent human beings. So there's next step. Number 2 is obstacle. They're interestingly laid out. Obstacle. 3 is an obstacle clarifier. 4. Come on now, don't do that. Let's do, for God's sake. Right. Watch Luna struggle. Honest to God. Number 4 is support. Five. And 6 is the path. All right. The 9 of Pentacles. Oh my God. All right. Now maybe we can be a little bit more together. So, next. Oh, wait a minute. There's 3 piles. Left, center, right. Okay. Left, center, right. So shuffle the deck. Blah, blah, blah. Split it into 3 piles. The left pile shows lay the cards down in order, pulling cards 1 and 6 from the center pile, 2 and 3 from the left, 4 and 5 from the right. Okay, I didn't do that, and we're just going to leave it. Okay, we're just gonna let that be. Here we go. Next step. Where do we need to go next on our path to the world? And we have Queen of Cups reversed. Puting, my phone is saying Puting. Our Lady of Intuition. If land is the real world and water the subconscious, then the Queen of Cups has her throne set in both. She has a deep connection to emotional knowledge, but also possesses the ability to transfer that inner world into outer reality. The Queen of Cups is very much like the High Priestess, except for the defining difference that the Queen of Cups is interested in other people. She believes that life is to be enjoyed and that joy comes from relationships and experiences. I'm so happy for that distinction because High Priestess, Hermit, Queen of Cups, are 3 of the cards that will that will tell me about psychic gifts, that someone's got psychic abilities beyond the norm, and so to see that defined, that the High Priestess, her entire life is dedicated to the temple. She lives in isolation. She lives in that internal world. The Queen of Cups lives in the external world. If the Queen of Cups is someone in your life, you will get a psychic vibe from them instantly. I drew the Queen of Cups as my mom because she is the kind of person who intuits things about you that you haven't even figured out about yourself. She is rich in love, smarts, and creativity and has probably already figured out how you're feeling about any given thing. If you're the Queen of Cups, it's time to cultivate your intuition. If your gut is telling you something, listen to it. Respect privacy. Try not to freak everyone out with your witchy insights. Trust your heart over logic and obligation. Let love be your driving force. So what do we need to do? We need to tune the hell into the subtler vibrations. Our next step in moving ourselves forward as humanity is to get in touch with this watery side in our interactions with each other. She's in the real world because she's coming up reversed, and it's saying that we have a long way to go. Another thing that Queen of Cups could be saying reversed is that the next step on the path is learning how to process our feelings without taking it personally. To recognize our feelings that get triggered by things and to own that experience and say, not put it on the other person, but to own our feelings, and in that way not be so oversensitive. We can be sensitive in a very open, healthy, and intuitive way, but when we get overly sensitive and that our raw emotional self is just, open and waiting for somebody to hurt it, that becomes an obstacle. So we need to be more in tune with our own emotions and not so reactive to things. That's the next step. And the one after that is number 2, which is right here, the obstacle. What is blocking our path right now? And we have the 5 of Pentacles. It's not a lack of money that's blocking our path. It's the poverty mindset that is the obstacle. The zero-sum mentality of Some have it, some don't, and if anybody gets some, they're taking it from me. Anybody having something means less for me. We need to get out of that. So that's our major obstacle is. And look at each card has each of the minors has another title. The something card. Do the courts have it? Yes. And that queen was, now I forget what she was. She was Our Lady of Intuition. Our Lady of Intuition. The Five of Pentacles says the dying alone in the cold card. I think of this card as a choice. Two figures down on their luck struggle through harsh weather. If they continue in this state, their condition will probably worsen. They might even die of exposure. Behind them, a church window glows with warmth and light. They could take advantage of this sanctuary, stop, seek out relief, and make it through the night. Will they notice this place of respite, or are they too stuck in their pain to see it? If they do open the door, will they be willing to accept the hospitality? The Five of Pentacles asks you to acknowledge that you have fallen upon hard times. It strongly suggests that help is available to you. There are no trophies for misery. Are you depressed? Find a therapist. Are you injured or sick? Seek medical attention. Do you need someone to talk to? You probably have friends. Call them. Are you in denial about a relationship or afraid to leave a toxic partner? It's time to make a change. There are people around you who love you and will offer support. You are not alone in this. Whatever has brought about this cold, dark night, there is warmth and assistance nearby. Accept help when it is freely given. So the dying alone in the cold card can also be like a martyr card. I'll just die out here rather than go into the warmth. Whole new levels of understanding of that card. Wonderful. So our obstacle is not being able to help ourselves and seeing everything in poverty mind, that there's not enough and I'm the one that's going to get left out in the cold. The obstacle clarifier. Hello. Okay, I hear ya. Yeah. I think the cards are saying bingo. Or my museum putty isn't strong enough. All right. So additional information and context in regards to the obstacle described in the previous card. In regards, additional information is the Ten of Pentacles, prosperity you can pass on. I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is a card about finishing on a high note. When the Ten of Pentacles appears, it affirms that your choices and actions have culminated in material stability. All right, so here's where the obstacle is. There's never enough. I'll never have enough. I'm going to be out in the cold. This is disaster head thinking. And the antidote to that, or the additional information to that, is we actually have enough riches that we can pass on. So we need to identify what are the things worth passing on. Is it money? Is it experience? Is it knowledge? Is it, works of art? What do we have that's worthy of passing on, like collectively? Our brilliant minds, our artists, our, everything that makes life worth living as humanity. These are the things worth passing on, not just money. So I think the focus on money is, considering we got two pentacles from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high as far as money goes, what's the obstacle? Focusing on money and not focusing on our natural material resources. Okay, number 4 is here. Support. What is helping you progress toward the next step? Hope. Hope is. The star suggests a time of recovery after a traumatic event. This is also a card of inspiration. All right, it says now's the time to pursue dreams. Okay, so talking about healing and inspiration. And so, what is it that supports us? The fact that we still keep hope. And support clarifier, additional information. What's the additional information? The Lover's card. All right. In readings, the Lovers represents the choices surrounding who you want to be with and who you want to be and who you want to be with. The Lover's card often symbolizes a choice between what you desire and what you consider morally right. Ooh. What role does love play in our lives? So collectively, though, hope and love. You know, what is it that sustains us? What supports us? Hope and love. What drags us down? What's the obstacle? Focusing on the material, the haves and have-nots. There's never enough. Scarcity mindset. La 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 la. Hope and love will take us to a place of abundance and sharing, being able to share the abundant resources we have. And then the last one is the path. What do you need to focus on or do to reach your goal? This is chillin' in my bitchin' garden with all my accomplishments. This cool-ass lady has her garden, her sweet clothes, her house, and her sick bird friend. She's really living her best life. The lush landscape represents her accomplishments. The calm falcon symbolizes intellectual power and self-control. And I said, sick bird, and immediately I'm thinking, oh, she's caring for a bird. No, sick. Sick. Her sick bird friend. Okay. Here you finally get the bounty you've worked for. You've attained the glories of stability, material comfort, leisure time, and a big old garden. All right, so just your self-confidence, self-sufficient. Let this card assure you that you're doing well, perhaps already in this state of luxury. If the glory of Nine of Pentacles feels out of reach to you, this card is here to tell you it's not. You're still doing okay. You're moving in the right direction, closer to your garden. And, the star had said it comes after a time of trauma. And certainly, yeah, pandemic was the culmination of a time of just a whole bunch of trauma for us. And so we've made it through. And the path to our goal is in that Nine of Pentacles, taking care of what is yours to care for. The things that are around you physically, do you have a patch of earth to care for? Care for it with your whole heart and whole soul. Your home, your family, the resources that you have. What can you share? This talks about solitary, but this was talking about sharing. Both of these talk about sharing. So our path is to get our shit together, take care of what's ours, and in my mind, look at how we can love it into multiplying to the point that we can share with everybody. Would have been interesting if those two had been reversed, right? But it does say that we need to, and Nine of Pentacles too talks about worth, what is worth having, and we also need to look at our own self-worth and what we're capable of accomplishing. So knowing that we can have what we need to take care of ourselves, and when we're secure in that, then we can also share. We're not going to leave others out in the cold. What an interesting deck. Wow. Absolutely fascinating deck. I'm really glad. I'm trying to get my OBS to work. There we go. Here's me again. Thanks for hanging out with me. What do you think of this deck? Do you have the indie version? What's the card stock like? Is it better than this? And hey, Liminal 11, if you're listening, try again. You're so close. So close. Everything about this deck is excellent except the card stock. So close. Anyhow, let me know what you think. And if you'd like me to read for you on an unboxing video, hit the Amazon wish list below. Buy me a deck and send me a question if you have one. I will read for you. Even if you don't send me a question, I will do a general reading for you. There's a couple links down below that show you how you can support the channel. I appreciate every single one of you that does. And I will see you next time on an unboxing or live stream. Until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.